Something that we don't often think about before we're trying to conceive is that you can't actually just get pregnant whenever you have sex. So you're ready to get pregnant or get pregnant again. This is so exciting. And I want to talk to you about how to track your cycles to make getting pregnant so much easier and less stressful. If you follow me already, then you may know that we have had multiple miscarriages and we use this method to get pregnant successfully after miscarriage. But we also use this method to get pregnant with my first son as well. You do not have to have had a miscarriage to watch this video and to find it useful. I am going to be showing you an app that I use on my phone. It's called Fertility Friend and it is my favourite app. This is not a sponsored video. They do not know I'm making this video, but it is my favourite app for tracking cycles. There are loads and loads of different ones out there. I have to admit, Fertility Friend does look a little bit old school, I guess, but I find it the best and more importantly, the most accurate. If you are in the TTC, the Trying to Conceive community already, then you will probably know all about Fertility Friend because it is the favourite one that tends to be used. So I will show you first of all what Fertility Friend looks like when you open the calendar. This is not specific to this app. I'm going to talk about just general cycle tracking. So you don't have to have this app to be able to do this method. This is just the one that I like to use. So here is the calendar for December. I haven't actually logged anything for this month. I will show you in a minute what a month looks like when everything has been logged. So you can see here the green squares at the top are where Fertility Friend says that I am probably going to be fertile. The black square is the day that we are on now and the cycle day. And then the pink square directly underneath that is when Fertility Friend predicts that I will come on my period. Now this app is incredibly accurate. Lots of the apps actually have quite a good algorithm if you have used them for month on month. So I would recommend if you're thinking about starting to try for a baby in, 6 months time, start tracking your cycles now. Let the app get all the information because then it will be much more accurate for you when you do come to use it. Obviously the day has got the little date on and then underneath it says CD and a number. CD means cycle day. So at the moment I am on cycle day 28. That is normally when most people would get their period actually, but I have a long cycle. My cycle lasts typically for 34, sometimes 35 days. So that's why you will see underneath that I am due to come on my period next week. So let's talk about what you need to do to create a really accurate chart for yourself so that you know when you're going to ovulate. And that's really important because you know when to try for a baby. As I said before, this does actually work better if you try to do this a few months in advance of when you're trying to conceive. You don't have to, but it just helps to build a better picture and makes you more aware of how your cycle works. I'm going to be talking a little bit now about taking your temperature, your basal body temperature, or your BBT as it's often called in the TTC community. What your basal body temperature is just your temperature at the start of the day when you have been resting before you get up and you do anything. This is your body's baseline temperature, and when you have ovulated, your body's baseline temperature actually raises and then it stays high until your period comes when it drops back down again. So it's a really great way because you can actually see when you have ovulated precisely, which is much better than taking ovulation kits, because ovulation kits, although they tell you that you might ovulate in the next 24 to 48 hours, they can actually give you false readings. You don't always ovulate if you get a positive on an ovulation strip. So charting, in my opinion, with your temperature is much more accurate. You won't know when you're going to ovulate, but if you have been tracking your cycles, you will get a very good idea because most people ovulate on the same day or within 1 or 2 days of that same day every single month. And then once you have ovulated, you will know when you can start your 2-week wait. So 2 weeks from that date is when you will be able to take your pregnancy test. Similarly, if you are trying to not have a baby, if you want to prevent pregnancy, then if you can see that you have ovulated, you know after that date, then you are safe to go at it and do whatever you want. You're not going to get pregnant until after your next period when, of course, you become fertile again. So I'm going to show you one of my charts. It actually comes from November 2018. This is when we got pregnant and then unfortunately had a loss, but this has no bearing on the accuracy of the information is still valid. So you can see here on the 5th of November is when I had the first day of my period that month, and that is classed as cycle day 1. The first day of your period is the first day of your cycle. Then my period lasted until cycle day 6, and then you can see on cycle day 19 there is a solid green square, which is different if I just show you from the month before where there are several green squares. That means that Fertility Friend predicts that I probably ovulated around that time on cycle day 23 when that solid green, where that bolder green square is. But when you see the solid green square, that means for sure that you ovulated on that date. And I will show you the chart in a second to prove that. Where you see the little blue triangle is where we had sex, and where you see the little yellow dot is where I made notes. Now you don't have to make notes, but it can be useful for your information. You can see after that solid green square that under the 24th of November there is a 1. So that's the first day of the 2-week wait. And then if I flip over to November, you can see, to December, you can see the 2-week wait continues. And actually on 9 DPO, 9 days past ovulation, I got my first positive pregnancy test. And you can see there that I had a positive pregnancy test on days 9, 10, 11 and 12 past ovulation. And then of course you can actually also see that I had that miscarriage a few weeks later, but that is not what this video is about. So let me show you the chart that goes with that November month. So this is what your chart will look like, and Fertility Friend does it all for you. I will show you in a second, if you want to use this app, how you input the data into this app specifically, but lots of apps will be very similar. So this is what the chart looks like. It's a little bit confusing looking at first, but once you get used to reading them, they're really easy to do. So you can see there's a big red cross on the screen. And before that red cross, the temperatures are lower down, the numbers are lower. And then after that red cross, you can see that the line goes up. That means my temperature has gone up after ovulation. Fertility Friend will actually put, they call them crosshairs, actually put those red lines in for you so you know exactly when you have ovulated. So all you need to do is take your temperature every morning and put it into the app, and then it will track it all for you and it will show you when you've ovulated, when there has been a big rise in temperature like that. And then if your temperature continues to stay elevated, it's a really good sign that you are actually pregnant, because most people's temperatures drop a day or two before they start their period. I won't go through all the different colours underneath because that is quite specific to Fertility Friend, but you can see that I have tracked various things like when we had sex, and then different kinds of symptoms that I experienced, cramps, dizziness, headaches, that kind of thing. And that can be really useful, especially if you are trying month on month, to be able to compare your symptoms with other months and to know maybe if you have been successful this time around. Let's talk about how to take your temperature, because there are a few specific things that you need to remember. You will need to have a basal body temperature thermometer. This is a digital thermometer. You can buy them online. They sell them on Amazon really inexpensively. And basically all it is a thermometer that's super accurate. It has generally 2 decimal places. I actually had one with 1 decimal place and that didn't seem to affect me at all. You can take your temperature using your thermometer either orally, so in your mouth, or you can take it vaginally by putting it inside, which most people find a bit gross, but actually it's a lot more accurate. So, you know, that's your call as to which you do. Obviously, you can think about the fact that you sleep with your mouth open. Often your mouth can get a bit dry and cold, which means that your temperature might not be so accurate if you are taking your temperature in your mouth every morning. So the most important thing about basal body temperature is that you take it at the same time every single day. So you need to set an alarm on your phone, decide which time will be the best for you, and take it at the same time every day and before you get up and do anything at all. So I used to keep mine beside my bed. I would set my alarm, keep my thermometer beside my bed, then my alarm would go off and I would literally just reach over and get the thermometer to take my temperature. You don't sit up because sitting up can affect it. You shouldn't drink water beforehand. So it really needs to be the very first thing that you do. Don't sit up and start scrolling through your phone. It needs to be the very first thing that you do as you wake up. That will get you the most accurate temperature. It sounds like a bit of a faff, but actually you get used to it and it becomes just a force of habit or routine. Once you have that temperature for the day, then you can log it in your app. So I will show you now how I would do that. So you just click on the day. So we're on cycle day 28. I can click on that day. And then there's lots of different things that you can kind of input. You can see some of them there. But the thing that we're looking at is the top where it says enter your BBT. So for example, if I had a BBT of, let's say 36 degrees, then I would just put that in there and save, and it would save there. Now you can't see it on the calendar, but if I go down to the little chart, you can see that little blue dot there next to 36. You can't see anything else on my chart because, as I said, for this month, I haven't actually been charting. But if I were, you'd be able to see a chart similar to the one that I just showed you before. So that is it. It's that simple. And whichever app you have will be relatively similar. Chart your basal body temperature every day. You will get that chart. You will be able to see when you ovulate. And that means that you will know when you want to have sex, because something that we don't often think about before we're trying to conceive is that you can't actually just get pregnant whenever you have sex. It's something that's kind of drilled into us, especially as teenagers. Be careful all the time because you could get pregnant at any moment. Well, while that's technically true if you don't know when you're ovulating, yes, you could technically get pregnant any of those times, you can't get pregnant unless you're ovulating, and it's a really small window each month. So you really do need to know when you're trying. Otherwise, you're trying and nothing is going to happen. Most people ovulate around cycle day 14, so that's 2 weeks after you get your period. However, there are a lot of people that don't. Some people ovulate early, in which case if you tried to have a baby on cycle day 14, then you would be too late. Some people ovulate a week later. That's me. I don't tend to ovulate until cycle day 21 or 22. So if I was trying 2 weeks after my period and then stopped because I thought, you know, oh, we've done it, we've done the deed for this month, we actually would have been trying a whole week early and I wouldn't have had a chance at getting pregnant. So it's really, really important to know your cycle and to know when you, specifically you, ovulate. Once you have that information, it just makes you have so much less anxiety because you know exactly what's going on. Often you see people that say, oh, I'm a week late for my period, but I'm getting negative pregnancy tests. Why is that? I don't know what's going on with my body. Well, it's probably just that you ovulated a week later than you normally did, and that's why your period's a week late. But if you chart these things, then you know. So there's no stress about it. This is one of the closest things that you can get to knowing without being a medical professional what is going on inside your own body. I would really, really highly recommend you charting your temperature. I hope this video was useful. If you are confused by anything that I've said or you want more information, then just leave me a comment down below and I will be happy to answer them for you. Or if you don't want to leave a comment out in the public eye, you can send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook. I will leave the details for those accounts linked down below for you as well. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this and give this video a like if you did like it, and I will see you all next time. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Bye bye.